One of the most important things you remember a player by is their jersey number. Number 3, Babe Ruth. Number 10, Chipper Jones. Number 42, Jackie Robinson. So in today's video, we will be going over the best player at each jersey number in Major League Baseball. Now in these type of videos, they take a lot of time to make, so if you do enjoy it, please leave a like. It's the best way to show me your support, and let me know if you want to keep seeing content like this. Subscribe if you're new here and you like what you see. We talk about baseball on this channel every single day, so if you like baseball, this is the place to be. Remember to comment to let me know if I missed any players at each number. So without further ado, let's get into the best players at each number in Major League Baseball. Starting it off, we have number 0. And it's going to be Andres Gimenez of the Toronto Blue Jays. Just an overall great player. For number 1, it's got to be Carlos Correa of the Houston Astros. Even though he's not the same player as he used to be, he's still the best guy at number 1, beating out guys like Ozzie Albies and Luis Arraez. At number 2, there's a lot of competition, like Willy Adames, Yandy Diaz, Geraldo Perdomo, but it's got to be Gunnar Henderson. He's a top 3 shortstop, and he's the best player at number 2. Coming in at number 3 is a newly acquired number for a newly acquired player, Alex Bregman of the Chicago Cubs. There's quite a lot of competition here, but he's the best at number 3. At number 4, it was between Pete Crow Armstrong and Ketel Marte, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to the 5-tool stud, Pete Crow Armstrong. At number 5, it was a battle between 2 players who have played for the Dodgers, Corey Seager and Freddie Freeman. Both are insane playoff hitters and both have multiple rings, but I got to give it to the 2-time World Series MVP, Corey Seager, who has been a top 10 hitter consistently for years now. For number 6, I'm giving it to the Miami Marlins player, Otto Lopez. For number 7, there was no debate here. We have to go with the best shortstop in baseball, Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals. He can hit, he can play the field, he can run, he can do everything. For number 8, I got to give it to the breakout all-star last year, Jonathan Aranda of the Tampa Bay Rays. At number 9, there's no competition here. It's Zach Neto of the Los Angeles Angels. Number 10, this is a pretty difficult decision. You got Sal Frelick, JT Realmuto, Marcus Semien, Trevor Story, but the best overall player is Marcus Semien at number 10. Number 11, it's pretty obvious, Jose Ramirez, the best third baseman in all of baseball. So for number 12, I'm going with Francisco Lindor, just beating out Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies. Both of these guys are absolute beasts, but one plays good defense and the other doesn't. There's a lot of talent at number 13. Ronald Acuna Jr., Junior Camarino, Manny Machado, but no one is as good as Ronald Acuna Jr. For number 14, I'm going with former top prospect Gabriel Moreno of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Not a lot of options at 15, but we're going to go with Hunter Goodman of the Colorado Rockies. At number 16, there were a lot of great options, like Rafael Devers and Nick Kurtz, but you can't just not choose the best catcher in baseball, Will Smith of the Los Angeles Dodgers. For number 17, the 4-time MVP, the 2-time World Series winner, and the best player in baseball, there was no question about it. It's Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Dodgers for number 17. At number 18, we're going to go with back-to-back-to-back Dodgers and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the guy who had the best World Series performance ever. Newly acquired free agent at number 19, Bo Bichette of the New York Mets. At number 20, I went with the former first overall pick, Spencer Torkelson of the Detroit Tigers. At number 21, there were a couple options that stood out to me, like Tyler Soderstrom, Ryan Heasley, and Yunier Diaz, but I'm going to go with the Houston Astro, Yunier Diaz. Number 22, Juan Soto of the New York Mets. Yeah, do I need to say much more? He's a top 10 player in baseball right now. At number 23, the best player wearing that jersey number has got to be Fernando Tatis Jr. You could argue Kyle Tucker, but Tatis is just better. Number 24, it's William Contreras of the Milwaukee Brewers. Just an overall stud. At number 25, it was a tough battle between Byron Buxton and Pete Alonso, but we saw what Buxton can do last year when he's healthy. So I got to go with Byron Buxton and the Minnesota Twins. At number 26, it was kind of hard to pick the best guy, but I went with one of the best defensive players of all time in Matt Chapman. At number 27, it sucks to see Mike Trout not be the best player at number 27 anymore. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the best player wearing number 27, without a doubt right now. At number 28, it was an obvious pick, and that's Matt Olson of the Atlanta Braves. Hits for power and plays great defense at first base. At number 29, another obvious choice here is Tarek Skubal of the Detroit Tigers. Easily the best pitcher in the league right now. At number 30, we have the second best pitcher in baseball, Paul Skeens. Only 23 years old, and already has a Cy Young trophy under his belt. At number 31, we have another Detroit Tiger in Riley Green. I'm really stoked to see how he'll perform this year. Coming in at number 32, Jacob Mizorowski. Standing at 6'7", his fastball peaking at 104 miles per hour. He's without a doubt the most terrifying pitcher to face. The best player at number 33 is Brendan Donovan of the Seattle Mariners. At number 34, I'm going with a very reliable ace in Kevin Gausman of the Toronto Blue Jays. He was a huge reason why they went on that playoff run last season. Traded from Sox to Sox. At number 35, I have Garrett Crochet of the Boston Red Sox. He led the league in strikeouts and was a top 5 pitcher in baseball last year. Not much more to say. 36, I have Logan Gilbert of the Seattle Mariners. He's a part of the best rotation in baseball right now, and he is a top 20 pitcher in baseball. 37 is not a great number, but there is one guy who's a clear choice, and that's Teoscar Hernandez of the Los Angeles Dodgers. At 38, the best player is Stephen Kwan of the Cleveland Guardians. Another bad number, but coming in at number 39 is Zach McKinstry of the Detroit Tigers. At number 40, there's not a lot of options, but Wilson Contreras is definitely the best option at 40. The best player at 41 is a great player on a horrible team, and that's Joe Ryan of the Minnesota Twins. At number 43, the best player is Jonathan Logasiga. The best player wearing number 44 was a very close matchup between Aroldis Chapman, Elly De La Cruz, Julio Rodriguez, and Andy Pages. But what if I told you none of those guys were the best? Because it's actually Yordan Alvarez of the Houston Astros at 44. The best player wearing number 45 is Aaron Civale. At 46 is the Phillies lefty flamethrower, Jose Alvarado. At number 47, one of the best relievers in baseball right now, Matt Brash of the Seattle Mariners. At number 48, this was an easy choice for me. It's Jacob deGrom. He was the best pitcher in the late 2010s and early 2020s, at least when he was healthy. Number 49 is the veteran reliever from the Dodgers, Blake Treinen. At number 50, without a doubt, it's Mookie Betts. He is a top 25 player in baseball, even after a down year last year. Number 51 is the guy who seems to keep getting better as he gets older, Chris Sale, the dominant lefty from the Atlanta Braves. Number 52 is Wilyer Abreu from the Boston Red Sox. At number 53 is the dominant Yankees closer, David Bednar. The best player wearing 54 is the lefty ace from the Yankees, Max Fried, who had the best season of his career last year. Number 55 is the guy who just got a bag this offseason from the Boston Red Sox, Ranger Suarez. I'm very excited to see how he does with the Sox this year. At number 56 is the 2020 postseason legend, Randy Arozarena. Number 57, Drew Rasmussen. He is one of the most underrated pitchers in the league right now. Number 58, Houston Astros ace, Hunter Brown. Number 59, former Astros pitcher, Framber Valdez, who left in free agency just under 2 months ago. Coming in at number 60, Pirates reliever, Dennis Santana. At number 61, I have star Phillies pitcher, Christopher Sanchez. I'm very interested to see if he can keep pitching at an elite level like he has been. At number 62 is Giants ace, Logan Webb. At number 63 is Yankees reliever, Fernando Cruz. At 64 is the young top prospect pitcher, Shane Smith of the Chicago White Sox. At 65 is Noah Cameron, starting pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. Coming in at number 66 is Dodgers star lefty reliever, Tanner Scott. At 67 is Royals pitcher, Seth Lugo. Number 68 is George Kirby from the Mariners, who had a little bit of a down year last year, but I fully expect him to have a bounce-back season this year. At number 69, the only player with that number is AJ Blue. At number 70, there's only 3 people with that number. Jose Butto is the best of the 3. At number 71 is wonky submarine pitcher, Tyler Rogers. At number 72, I have a guy that deserves a statue at Dodger Stadium, Miguel Rojas. Number 74, I have 38-year-old Kenley Jansen. At 75, I had to choose from 2 very elite closers in Andres Munoz and Robert Suarez, but I believe Andre Munoz is slightly better than Robert Suarez. At 76, I have Leo Rivas from the Mariners. At number 77, I have Parker Mesnick. At number 78, I have Orioles reliever Yennier Cano. At number 80, I have Dodgers pitcher Emmett Sheehan. Number 81, Ryan Thompson. He's the only player with 81. Number 82, Jeremiah Jackson. Again, He's the only player with that number. At number 83, I have Odor Lizardo. At number 84, I have Dylan Cease. I'm expecting a huge bounce-back season with the Blue Jays this year. At 86, I have Jack Dreher, the only player with 86. At 87, one of my favorite players, Jacob Marcy from the Marlins. At 88, another newly acquired Met in Luis Robert Jr. At number 93, I have Matt Gage from the Giants. At 94, I have Yandres Gomez from the Rays. At 97, I have Ron Mauricio from the Padres. At number 98, I have Randy Vasquez from the Padres. And finally, last but not least, number 99, the greatest hitter in the league and the second best player in the league, Aaron Judge from the New York Yankees. And so those are the best players in Major League Baseball at each number. I would love to know if you guys agree or disagree with me in the comment section below. Remember to leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much guys for watching and sticking around until the end. Peace out.